Hola, año 7, buenos días. Señora Wilson aquí. Ok, para do now, hoy, vamos a escribir las palabras correctas que faltan. So we're going to write the missing words here correctly on our sheet. If you need to use the words we've learned in previous lessons to help, please do so. 2 minutos. Bueno, las respuestas. Número 1, buenos días. En inglés, buenos días es good morning or good day. ¿Qué tal? Regular. So I'm okay. Y tú and you, bien, which means good. Bueno, adios. Adios. Goodbye. Just make sure that you've got all those words written completely correctly on your sheet. And don't forget those accents. Bueno, ahora vamos a escribir la fecha y el título. El título para hoy es ¿Cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos años tienes? Don't worry too much about what that means because we're going to come across that later on in today's lesson. Work out the date with what's on the board and copy the title down. 2 minutos. Excelente. Vamos a empezar hoy con los números. So today what we're going to do is we're going to practice our 1 to 10 and we're going to learn 11 to 20. So spend a couple of minutes now just recapping 1 to 10 that you should have on your sheets and in your folders from last lesson. Remember we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you need to, rewind that and play it again so you can check your pronunciation of those numbers. Hoy vamos a practicar los números 11 hasta 20. So let's practice numbers 11 to 20 now. So, repite. 11, 12, 13, 14. Let's do those ones again. 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so that's 11 to 14. Now let's do 15. 15, 15, 15. It's not quince or quince or anything like that. It's 15. And then to this row here, the next row, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20. Let's just go through all of those one more time together. Repite. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Excelente. Right, let's just point out a couple of pronunciation rules. So when we can see that with quince and catorce, the CE at the end is a the sound, and trece and doce, actually, in fact, all of the top ones, that C at the end is a the sound. Once, doce, trece, catorce, quince. Okay. When we get to quince, we've got to remember that QU, which in English would be que, like for example in queen. But here in Spanish, when we see a QU together, it's a k sound. So it's quince. Then on the bottom row, don't forget 16 for some reason in Spanish here has an accent on that E. So don't forget that. And also remembering that the CI together is a thi sound, thi. So it's 16, 17, 18. Not forgetting that nueve, the V sound, is a B, more of a B than a V. And so that V at the beginning of 20 is more of a B than it is a V. So practice that 20, 20. Okay. If you need to, rewind and listen again and practice again with those numbers. Excelente. Ok, vamos a escribir. So, entonces, sur el papel vamos a escribir los números, por favor. So, write these numbers down carefully onto your paper. 5 minutos. Okay, terminado. Just spend 1 minute just checking over, if you can, your partner's work. So just have a look. You don't need to touch your partner's work. Just move them across. And if you spot any mistakes, point them out to your partner, and then it can be checked and rectified. Muy bien. Ok, ahora vamos a escuchar. Escucha, hay 3 números que no se mencionan. ¿Cuáles son? We're going to listen. They're going to read out the numbers, but they're going to miss out 3 numbers. We're going to do it twice. We'll listen to it twice, but see if you can write down the 3 numbers that are not mentioned. You don't need to write the words. You just need to write the digits.
Módulo 1. Mi vida. Unidad 3. ¿Tienes hermanos? Página 12. Ejercicio 1. Escucha. Hay 3 números que no se mencionan. ¿Cuáles son? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15.
Okay, how many did you get? Maybe you got 1, maybe you got all 3. We're going to listen again to check your answers or to get that final 1 or 2 that you didn't get.
Dos, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15.
Okay, which 3 numbers have you got? You should have cuatro, so you should have a number 4 written down, siete, and number 7 written down, and catorce, and number 14 written down. I'm not sure also if number 1 played on the first, on the second hearing. So if you've written down number 1 as well, that wouldn't be a mistake. Muy bien. Okay, ahora vamos a practicar. So here's a bit more mathematics for you to do, un poco de matemáticas. See if you can write out the correct word of the number in Spanish. 5 minutos. ¿Terminado? Ok, las respuestas. 5 más 5 son 10. So number 1, número 1, 10. Número 2, 9 menos 3 son 6. So número 2, 6. Número 3, 3 más 10 son 13. Número 3, 13. Número 4, 4 más 6 son 10. 10. Número 4, 10. Número 5, 2 más 12 son 14. 14. So, número 5, 14. Número 6, 10 más 8 son 18. Número 6, 18. Número 7, 11 más 2 son 13. Número 7, 13. Número 8, 10 más 10 son 20. Número 8, 20. Número 9, 20 menos 10 son 10. So, número 9, 10. Well done if you got all of those correct. Okay, we're going to move on now. So now we've got our numbers 1 to 20. We're going to learn this phrase. Do you think you can work out what it means? So we've learned those numbers. We need to learn 1 to 20 to be able to answer this question. ¿Cuántos años tienes? Have you had a go at working out what it means? Hopefully you've come up with how old are you? And then I am and how many years old. That's what we're going to practice now. So let's practice the pronunciation of this question. Repite. ¿Cuántos? ¿Cuántos? Años? Años? Do you remember what that accent on top of the N does to that N sound in Spanish? It changes the pronunciation from a N to a N, so años. Good. So if we didn't have that accent, it would be años. So ¿cuántos años? Practice again. Años. And finally, tienes. Repite. Tienes. ¿Cuántos años tienes? And all together, ¿cuántos años tienes? Otra vez, ¿cuántos años tienes? ¿Cuántos años tienes? Okay, good. And how we will answer that, we'll put our age in the middle. So I expect most of you are 11 or 12. So we're going to say, if we were 11, we would say tengo 11 años. And if we were 12, we might say tengo 12 años. What I'd like you to do now is to write those two phrases and complete the age in a word onto your paper. So you'll have ¿cuántos años tienes? And then tengo 11 años if you're 11, or tengo 12 años if you are 12. And then underneath that, or possibly next to it, can you remember to write the English so that you will remember what it means? 4 minutos. Okay, vamos a escuchar otra vez. We're going to do some listening again. This time we're going to listen to the ages of 6 people. So I'd like you to write 1 to 6 on your sheet of paper. Now you're going to listen to somebody asking someone their age and they're going to reply. What you need to do is work out who is talking. So if the person says they are 11, you would write down A because that would be Marcus because he is holding a balloon that says 11 on it. What we're going to do is we're going to listen to each one twice through and then we will do the answers. Okay, so we can see that the first one, it says ejemplo here, so that's example. So the first one is going to be Pablo. So the first one will be Pablo, and then the next one you hear, you need to write down the correct letter. So you should have 1 to 6 written down on the left-hand side, and you're just going to write the correct letter.
Escucha. Pon los dibujos en el orden correcto.
1,
¿Cuántos años tienes?
Tengo 15 años.
1,
¿Cuántos años tienes?
Tengo 15 años.
Okay, so that's number 1 done for us. They said tengo 15 años, which makes that 15. So that's C. So number 1 is C. We'll hear each one twice.
2. ¿Cuántos años tienes?
Tengo 10 años.
2. ¿Cuántos años tienes?
Tengo 10 años.
3.
¿Cuántos años tienes? Tengo 11 años.
3.
¿Cuántos años tienes? Tengo 11 años.
4.
¿Cuántos años tienes? Tengo 12 años.
4.
¿Cuántos años tienes? Tengo 12 años.
5.
¿Cuántos años tienes? Tengo 14 años.
5.
¿Cuántos años tienes? Tengo 14 años.
6.
¿Cuántos años tienes? Tengo 6 años.
6.
¿Cuántos años tienes? Tengo 6 años.
Okay, bueno, vamos a hacer las respuestas. Let's do the answers and see if you've got them right. So they should look like this. So, número 2, 10 años. Número 3, Marcos. Número 4, Nuria. Número 5, Carlos. And número 6, Andrea. Well done if you got all of those correct. And if you didn't, Just be aware of the numbers that you didn't get correct, because those are the ones that you need to practice on. Okay, this is our final activity. Now you'll know this look very well. It's a conversation that we've been practicing since the beginning. This time, this conversation has a greeting. It has how are you in it. It has what is your name in it. And it also has what is your age. Okay, so see if you can practice with the person next to you, facing the front, but having that conversation together. Practice this conversation in Spanish. I will expect you to change the ages and the names and how you are according to you yourselves. Have a go at that. Terminado? I hope you've had some wonderful conversations, Year 7. Okay, that is the end for today's lesson. Remember that you need to practice these things at home in between lessons, particularly the numbers and the greetings that we've been learning, and definitely today the cuántos años tienes, understanding that, being able to ask and answer your age. Next lesson we'll be recapping on those numbers, hopefully learning up to 21 and learn the months of the year. Can you think about what we might need to learn up to 31 and the months of the year 4? Have a think about that. Adios.